And I've got tactics, mate.
You've told me about your tactics. I've heard your tactics.
Yeah, right. It's public. I'm out in the public, right? Like in
Boo!
You're tuning in to The Property Couch, Australia's #1 property, finance and money podcast. Featuring the titans of the industry since 2015, we're trusted by tens of thousands of investors on their journey to financial peace. This show is powered by More.
G'day folks, welcome back to The Property Couch. Well, yes, it is Chapter 2 and you're probably wondering, wait a minute, when did a Friday episode drop? You don't do episodes on Friday. Well, no, it's the new chapter, and yes, we're going to do new things and try new experiments, and this is exactly one of them. And I have the privilege of introducing you to one of our new couch crew, Ben Thompson.
Happy to be here.
Welcome to the couch, mate.
Thanks, Ben. Good to be here. Good to be a part of it.
Now, people will be saying, who are you, and where do you come from, and how do you fit into property? So, what do you spend your time doing?
Gee, that's a good question, Ben. I'm very privileged is what I would say in terms of what I get to do. So during the week, I guess help people achieve their next property goal. That's a big part of my job. And then on the weekends, I get to go out there and do it another way and do a few auctions as well.
He's being very humble. He's being very humble. He's a QPIA, which is a qualified property investment advisor, and he's done hundreds of plans in terms of helping clients look after that. But he puts his cape on the weekend, and he's a real estate agent and an auctioneer. And how many auctions have you done in your time?
Oh, God, that's a good question. Probably just over 1,000, I'd say, if I was guessing. I've done it probably about 7 years now, probably averaging out, 150, 200 a year, sounds about right. So, give or take. So
now the concept of this particular show, this experiment that we're running right now, is about the hill that you will die on. Yes. Right now, and what we're going to do as part of these episodes is we're going to explore areas of money, finance, but today we're double clicking on property. That was a triple click. That was good. We're double clicking on the property story, right? So I'm going to put you into a scenario, and you're going to tell me what hill would you die on. So my scenario is this: how do you like buying property? And why?
Okay, I'm going to be biased, aren't I?
No, do whatever you need to do.
That's okay. So, I would say auction, clearly the most transparent. I'd say that's the biggest benefit through all my experience.
Explain what do you mean by transparency?
Well, you get to see who you're competing against. And at the end of the day, you can see what someone else has just paid. Yes, at the end of the day, right? You're not dealing one-on-one with an agent who's sitting there and telling you, hey, I've got another offer. There's somebody else. So how do I know?
Yeah.
I can physically see it. I can look at them. I know who I'm competing against. I know how they're bidding. I know how they're standing. I know who they're standing with. I can read their cues, body language, all those things. So then I can try my best to try and, I guess, manipulate that if I'm bidding.
If I'm bidding,
I'm not the auctioneer in this one.
But we are going to flip the coin here
we'll
in
have
this
to do
conversation because
both, right?
we'll do both. So you're at an auction, and so you love the idea of this transparency.
Yeah, because I think in a lot of ways people see auctions as a lot of people use the word scary or daunting or overwhelming or those sort of things. It's when you understand the process behind them and you understand sort of human behaviour, they're actually really easy to deal with. And if you understand that the agent, the auctioneer, they're not the ones you're competing against. Yeah. They're just there facilitating a process. The person you're competing against, the other buyers. Yeah. And once you understand that.
But it brings out the most anxious moments in most people because it's public. I'm out in the public, right? Like in terms of, and it's like public speaking. I have to not only declare my hand, and in some states I've got a paddle, I've got to register and all that. Yeah. But in Victoria, I've just got to lift my hand up but I feel nervous about that. So not only am I emotional in the sense that I've got a big financial decision that I'm trying to make, and I might absolutely love the property, but I'm not sure that my budget's going to get me there. But again, get past all of that. And then you're seeing the transparency piece in there.
Yeah, the transparency piece is huge. And then, for what I would say, and we talk a lot about planning and goal setting and those things, right? And like with an auction, it's having a plan, having a strategy, knowing how you're going to go in there and approach it. Yeah. And if you get all those pieces down pat, then it doesn't need to be scary. It doesn't need to be daunting. You've just got to understand the process and how it works. And if you spend time putting energy into learning,
Yeah.
it's easy, as I said. And then, but the benefit of that is it's transparent as well when you're there. You can see what you're up against. There's no smoke and mirrors. It's just, I've bought privately, EOI, and I've bought through auction. Obviously, I've run auctions, but every time I've bought at auction, I always leave going, yep, that was the number. I got that right.
So because we all have that sort of buyer's remorse
At times,
like
that's happened.
So and that's off the back of the lack of transparency when it comes to
You don't know what the other person paid.
expression of it. I remember, I know on a property that I bought for a client. Actually, no, I didn't buy for a client. I bid on an expression of interest for a 2-bedroom property in Elizabeth Bay, beautiful property. Wanted to go after it, Art Deco. This is years ago, right? But it was an expression of interest, and I think my offer at the time was 913. And the highest bidder was 947. So it jumped from 913 to 947. Now that property would be a probably $1.5 million property today, but at the time, and I'm like, how do you know? That's just they paid 30 grand more, 40 grand more than they needed to pay.
Correct.
Because it was hidden.
Correct.
It was a hidden discussion.
Correct.
So all right. So transparency is auctions is the hill that you want to buy property on.
Yes.
So your preference is to buy properties in there. Now, fortunately, in markets where there's strong demand, and strong demand will hopefully lead to future value and price growth, that is obviously where most auctions are handled. But we are seeing, and obviously Melbourne's the auction capital of the world, pretty much.
Yes.
We get over 1,000 auctions pretty much on a typical weekend.
Yeah.
So I want to reverse the conversation now.
So,
Right? All right. So I'm an experienced bidder, right?
Yep.
And I'm coming to the auction, right? And I've got tactics, mate.
Yeah,
I've
you've told me
got
about your tactics.
I've
heard your tactics.
Yeah, right. So, as an experienced bidder, and I've probably bid now over 500 properties auctions. So let's say my tactic is to offset some of the other people who might be in the audience.
That's your job.
Who are thinking about bidding, right? And so one of my tactics might be, now,
it's going to be my least favourite thing ever. But
here we go. That big crack that I see, or is that a deviation in the wall?
Yeah.
Or wait a minute, is that roof line straight? I mean, surely that's structural.
I've had you before. There's always one,
Well,
right?
wasn't me that I
Yeah.
So obviously you're the auctioneer, and you've got to now try and keep everyone interested in the property and not worry about that big bow in the roof that I've just pointed out.
Yeah, no, well, you're my favourite, right? Because here's the reality, right? The ones that ask that are always the ones that start bidding. And
so it's pretty easy.
When you start bidding, right, well, all of a sudden, hey, ladies and gentlemen, how good's this? The person that's asking all the questions, they're the one bidding, so you should get confidence out of the fact that how much diligence, how much research, how much information this guy knows, and he's bidding. Doesn't it give you great confidence knowing that that's not going to be a challenge?
Now, so that's a good one. I mean, the other one that's often used is there asbestos in this property, and that's another one that
comes
also,
up a lot.
Because then it's
you've
like,
done your research though, Ben.
Well,
so,
yes, but the other people mightn't have done their, building and pest and so forth, and they may not still know that I'm a developer that's going to knock it down and put 3 townhouses on the site, or whether I'm interested in the property in its current format. So I have still created a bit of doubt.
You do.
In terms of that.
Yep.
So that's one way. Now, what about I'm now referring to you as by name.
That's an interesting one.
So I'm like, I'm standing close to you, and I'm feeling like we've got a relationship here, Ben. So I'm going to say 5,000 more, thanks, Ben.
Yep.
And look out at the rest of the crowd and see what they're going to be doing.
Yep. It's a good strategy. It works well. That's what I do. To your point, I think you're trying to. Your role as a buyer is to try and exude confidence to people to demonstrate, I am going to buy this. I have a relationship here. I am in front. There is nothing you can do that's going to put. I'm in the pole position here, right? Yep. That's what you're trying to put out there when you're trying to bid. So then, your role as the auctioneer, if I flip that, is just to try and control that environment, keep it calm, reassure people. Really simple things, right? Like he looks confident, but you guys have no idea what he's got to spend. So just give your best. What strategy did you come with today? And it's guiding people through that process. It's knowing when to speed up, when to slow down, when to give them time, when to put pressure, when to trial close, when to resell. There's different tactics that you can sort of bring in as the auctioneer. Because really, to your point, as a buyer, when you're bidding, you're trying to control the process. And I said at the start, right? The agent's and auctioneer's job is to try to facilitate the process. So really, when I'm an auctioneer, I'm trying to give everybody the best chance to buy the house they want, right? They've come here,
to participate.
And I'll give them as much time as I possibly can and as much room and just really try to make it as simple and easy as I can. When I'm bidding, I'm trying to speed it up. I'm putting pressure on the auctioneer. Are we on the market? What's going on? I want to close. It's just so you're constant. So then, to your point, when you've got an inexperienced auctioneer, those things can be easier, right? Because all of a sudden they feel pressure. Like, oh, okay, I've got to sell it to this guy. I've got to sell it to this guy. But when you've done it enough times, you've just got to manage that conversation in the right way. And you just simply say to the person, hey, Ben, I know you want it, but I'm just going to give these guys a chance. I'd do the same if it was your house. Give us a sec. Take your time. No rush.
The dialogues are great, aren't they? They're obviously, that's experience and skill in terms of building that together. So, mate, welcome to being part of the Couch crew.
Pleasure.
We're going to see you throughout the course of the year on the couch behind us. This is
looking forward to it.
That's
looking comfy.
It is looking good. So let's just recap. In terms of the hill that you will die on, so the hill that you'll die on if you're buying, is you want transparency in that process.
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
And so your preferred method of buying is through auctions, but we've flipped that conversation around what you need to feel comfortable with. So always remember, we've said this many, many times, and Bryce led this conversation, but we talked about it being theatre sports. So if you're not used to it, go to a couple of auctions, see how they play out. Okay, if you're going to be bidding for yourself, because there are professional bidders.
At least 6.
At least 6. There's great advice.
Minimum.
At least 6. So don't die on that hill unless you know that process. Yeah. So that's a wrap for the very first episode of our
Got through it.
What Hill to Die On. Welcome again. It's been exciting. Now, if you have a question, if you want to ask one of our Couch crew, what hill do you need the answer to die on? What thing that you want to extract from the experts that we have on the Property Couch, just send it in through our speed pipe on the Property Couch website or write to us and we will add it to the queue of what hill you will die on. Thanks for watching, everyone, and until next time, remember, knowledge is empowering, but only if you act on it. Bye for now.
Hey folks, Opti here, your smart money sidekick inside more. Just one quick thing before we sign off. If you're new to the Property Couch community, welcome. One quick tip to help you get the most value from the show. Our first 20 episodes cover the foundations we build on every week. And yes, listening on 1.5 speed is totally acceptable. If you're short on time, download our free binge guide. It distills those episodes into one easy read with heaps of visual diagrams, alongside free tools inside More, your all-in-one financial home, to help you organize your money and plan your next best move. Check out all the links in our show description. And just a quick reminder before you go, anything we cover on this podcast is general in nature. It's not considered to be financial advice, and we certainly recommend that you seek out professional advice before making any financial decisions. Once again, everything mentioned is linked in the show description. Ready when you are. Catch you next week.